Welcome to the Digital Business Evolution Podcast, a place that you can now call home. I know you're creating long-lasting impact in this world, and you absolutely deserve the time, location, career, and financial freedom that you desire. I'm here to guide you with proven strategies, tools, and mindset hacks that I've taught to thousands of business owners. You'll also be hearing from exceptional guests sharing stories of their own personal and business evolution. My name is Jessica DeRose, and I'm here to teach you what I'm learning. We are all inherently worthy, regardless of the number of degrees, awards, and accolades that we've collected along the way. Grab a notebook, a coffee, and enjoy the show. Hey, welcome back to the show. Today we are talking about a controversial topic. That's kind of dramatic, but it is a bit of a polarizing topic. And so what we're talking about today is offers. And the reason that it's polarizing or could be so dramatic is because there are some people and some businesses who believe having a ton of offers is best. And then there are a lot of businesses who believe having one solid offer is best. And like anything, there's not one right way, best way, or only way to start or scale a business. So everything that I tell you, I'm telling you from my own personal experience, my own lived experience, and working with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients over the last, 10 years in this entrepreneurial game. So take what you want, leave the rest. But I will kick this off by saying the way that I built my multiple seven-figure business was with one signature offer. That's right. So my opinion is I love a good solid offer. I love a signature program. I love a meat and potatoes, a big kahuna, or whatever you want to call it. I am a huge advocate for having a single offer. Now, does that mean that I don't have other offers in my business? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But what it does mean is that all roads lead to my signature offer. And so we're going to break it down today, and we're going to talk about what a solid core offer is, or a signature offer. You're going to hear me say that a lot of different times. We're going to talk about how many offers is too many offers. And again, everything I'm telling you is just based on my experience. Now, I also believe that success leaves clues. And so when I look at people in my industry or similar industries, let's call it digital education or digital marketing or coaching, it's really like all of the above. When I look at the most successful, and that is subjective, so success in my eyes, the most successful people, and I look at what they have done and what they've built, well, that for me is a pretty good indicator that they're leaving clues along the way. And so the funny thing is when I look at who I believe to be the most successful people and successful businesses in these arenas that I'm speaking of, I recognize a pattern, and they're all doing the same type of thing. It's not that they're selling the same type of thing. They're all positioning their businesses, their frameworks, and the way that they run the business the same way. And what I've recognized over the last decade is that these successful business owners I'm looking up to all have, you guessed it, one signature core offer. So success leaves clues. Now, let's backtrack for a second. My definition of success when I'm looking at someone else's business is multifaceted. So yes, of course, what's their revenue year after year? More importantly, what are their profit margins? Which, full transparency, well, that's not the right saying here, but honest moment, truth bomb, spicy Jess, most coaches aren't sharing that information online. They're luring you in with their revenue, which at the end of the day means diddly squat. Yes, I said it, diddly squat. Perfect example. I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who shared a story. So one of my mentors shared a story about a past friend or peer who had $1 million year and was using it as marketing, seven-figure business, $1 million year. And at the end of the day, he had spent $950,000 on ads. $950,000 on ads. So really, he had a $50,000 year. So don't get blindsided or confused or blinded, I should say, by shiny objects and by the allure and the sexiness and the drawn in feel to numbers. But with that said, I do look, okay, what do their revenues look like? What do their profit margins look like? Because again, someone could have bananas overhead, whether they have a massive team, they're spending money on ads, they're paying out affiliates, they suck at managing their money, right? These are things that are true. So their revenue and their profit is something that I'm looking at. More importantly, I'm looking to see when I say success in my eyes of what their business is, Is it sustainable? Is it repeatable? Have they been around for a while, right? There's market like staying power. Have they been around for a while? Is it repeatable? Is it sustainable in the way that they don't have to be there? Is it working without them working it? Do they still have to be the face of it? Are they still trading their time for money? Right? These are all things that I'm looking for and I'm considering to be successful. I say that in quotes when I'm looking at a mentor, a peer, a coach, when I'm looking at their business. So when I take a step back and I look at all of these people, and I'll name some: James Wedmore, Marie Forleo, Amy Porterfield, Tony Robbins, Gabby Bernstein, right? These people have been around the block. They've been around for years. Most of them selling their digital education and using digital marketing for over a decade. That is staying power. They have teams. They can run their business without themselves. And they all have one signature offer. Now, before you throw your arms up in a tizzy, you're like, but Jess, yeah, they do have other offers. And you may have purchased some of them or know of them or heard of them, but they have a signature offer. And that's what we're talking about today. So, like I've said many times, I'm not interested in teaching you how to make money. I'm not. I'm interested in teaching you how to build a machine that makes you money, because I know that life sometimes gets in the way. There's a death in the family. We want to take a vacation. We get sick. We don't feel like showing up. We go through a divorce. We have a child. We get a dog, whatever it might be. Life throws you curveballs. And when you are the business, then you can't just walk away from it. Or if you do, the business might crumble. Or it might not crumble, but it might not thrive. So can you get to a place in your business that is a machine running without you, that you could step away if needed? And so based on years of trial and error and experience and mentorship and hundreds of thousands of dollars of learning things from other people, I personally am not interested in creating, selling, and managing a ton of offers. And if you're wondering if I've tried it, I have. So I did. For a little while, I stepped into the world of selling a brand new thing all the time. And let me just be clear. I am a visionary through and through. I am a creator through and through. I'm an artist. I'm an Enneagram 3. I'm a projector. I'm an ENFJ. I am very much, and I say this humbly, but this has come to me through different personality tests, working with different experts. I'm very much like a phoenix. I am obsessed with creating something, learning it, and almost mastering it, becoming proficient in it. And then I don't care about the rest of it. So when I tell you that I'm obsessed with creating new things, I'm obsessed with creating new things. So I love the idea that I would get to create a brand new offer and masterclass and program and course and training every single month, because that's my favorite thing to do, is create. I joke with my team all the time. One of these days, I swear we're going to do it. We joke around that we want to create like an all-inclusive, unlimited membership to have access to my Canva. Because my Canva portal, I've been on Canva since it started. I was one of the OGs. I think it was back in like 2014 or 13. If you went into my Canva, you would see hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of trainings and workbooks and workshops that I have never even brought to life. A lot of them, they're just sitting in there, and I just never brought them to life because I don't really care about that next part. For me, it's about birthing the thing. It's about creating the thing. It's about getting the idea out of my head and putting it down into some sort of a training or paper. I'm obsessed with that. So the idea is tantalizing to me, this concept of creating something new every time I get inspired. Like, yeah, sign me up. That sounds incredible. Except I tried it and I thought that it sucked. I thought it was terrible. It was fun for a moment. For me, it was like a quick hit, like instant gratification, this quick hit, like a junkie, where I was just like, ooh, give me more. I get to create. Ooh, give me more. I get to create. And it wasn't until the team and I went through a couple different rounds, a couple different iterations of new offers that we were like, wait a minute, this sucks. This is not building a machine at all. And you can argue with me. It's totally fine. You don't have to agree with me. But we weren't building a machine. We were building chaos. Simplicity scales, fancy fails. Simplicity scales, fancy fails. And again, success leaves clues. Go look at the most successful businesses in the world and think about what they offer. So I'm going to give you an example right here. I think you know what Apple is, not the food. Apple, the tech company. What are they known for? brrr, the iPhone. They're known for the iPhone and laptops, right? Like those are the two big kahunas, but their signature offer is the iPhone. Their signature offer is not the cable, the cords that go with it, the laptop cases. It's not even like the iPod. It's not even if they have a version of Alexa. It's nothing of those things. The doorbell that does all the fancy things. No, Apple is known for the iPhone. Now, they've earned their right to go wide. Once you sort of come in the door and you know about them for the iPhone, well, then, yeah, you're going to want a charger and you're going to want a case. And then you want to get your stuff connected to the laptop, to the cloud. And you're like, screw it. I'll just get all Apple products because it'll make my life easier because everything will talk to each other. And then you go into the Apple Smart Zone or whatever it's called, and they help you, the Geek Squad or whoever they are. That's the wrong brand. But you go in and they help you, right? And everything connects and everything talks to each other. And I'm living, breathing proof because I write all of my content in the notes section of my computer. But then it just shows up in the note section of my phone and I can copy it and paste it into Instagram and it's so good. They're known for the iPhone. Okay. Now I'm going to use another example. And I don't know why this example keeps coming up. I think it's because I watched a documentary recently, but Victoria's Secret, they were known for lingerie or panties, right? They're known for clothing. But if you walk in the store today, yeah, they have bathing suits and they have beach towels and they have beach bags and they have a whole section of creams and lotions and powders and sprays, but they're known for their clothing. And I can go on and on and on giving you examples. So when I tell you having a signature offer, what I believe the best thing to do in your business, I'm not saying you're not allowed to sell anything else. But what I am saying is that when you're communicating and building and creating many different offers, the part that most people are missing, that most coaches are not being truthful about, is that you have to manage everything that you're creating. Well, you should manage it. So what's happening to a lot of people is they're getting excited about the creation phase. They're creating a ton of offers. They're launching and selling a ton of offers. They're building hype. They're doing what people are calling income stacking, which is a real thing. They're stacking income on top of each other because they're selling 400 different things at the same time. So they have money coming in from all over, which again is very alluring and very sexy. But then in my experience, watching it and being in this world is that a lot of balls are getting dropped on the back end. A lot of balls are getting dropped with the customer success, the customer support, the experience, the next steps for the person. Now, there may be businesses and coaches out there selling a ton of offers who are doing a fabulous job on the back end. So I'm not saying that that would happen, but what I'm saying is I will tell you from experience, running a successful multiple seven-figure business with a team, it is really hard. It requires a lot of capacity, a lot of energy, and a lot of focus, man and woman power to have a really good product running on the back end. Selling it on the front end is one thing, and having the energy for that, and the messaging for that, and the audience for that, and the excitement for that. Managing it on the back end is very challenging. And so when I look at our product suite or our ascension model, and I think, okay, imagine we had 5 products. Well, that's 5 times the amount of work that we would have to do if we had 1 product. And so I really do believe that a signature core offer is really, it's a desirable solution communicated effectively to the right person at the right time. So when I'm talking about a core offer or a signature offer or whatever I'm calling it, it is a desirable solution communicated effectively to the right person at the right time. And a very solid, like the elements of a solid core offer is it has simplicity, it has scalability, and it has sustainability. And I truly believe that if you are not building the machine, then you will become the machine. And if you're like me, a creative, passionate, multi-passionate, freedom-oriented human being, you will never be happy being the machine. If you're anything like me and you crave freedom and adventure and change and excitement and autonomy, creativity, multi-passionate, jumping from one thing to another, always learning something new, you will never be happy being the machine. It just won't happen. So I would rather you focus on one signature offer. Now, when we think of a signature offer, there's really like three main pieces to the puzzle of a signature offer. So yes, the offer itself and the messaging and the positioning and the pricing and how you're going to market it, like that's all really important. But when you're looking at the offer itself, which is a desirable solution communicated effectively to the right person at the right time, what's going to happen after the offer, after you've invited them, is three things. We've got onboarding, customer success, and offboarding. So let's break it down. Onboarding is going to be things like getting out contracts, payments, any sort of deliverables that you were promised, maybe welcome gifts, charity, donations, making sure people move over into wherever you're hosting the course, or they have login access to the platform, or they're in the community that you've created. That's all a part of onboarding, right? Customer support or customer success is now when they're in it. So that was all like right before the sale or as they made the sale. Then when they're in it, what is the communication? How do they get results? What are the deliverables they're getting while they're in the course or the program? What are the metrics that you're tracking? How are you offering them accountability, support? Is there community to it? Do you have upsells? Do you have downsells? And then finally, we have the offboarding, which is going to really talk about things like surveys and collecting testimonials. What are the next steps? Is there additional support? Is there closure, some sort of a graduation? Are there going to be gifts sent out? What would you like them to do after? What's the customer journey when you've offboarded them? So when you're looking at sort of all of these pieces, and I'm not even talking right now about the pre-onboarding, which is all of the launch mechanism, which we talked about in a recent episode, right? It's the lead generation. It's the customer acquisition. It's bringing them into your funnel. Yes, you have a funnel. Everybody has a funnel. If you have a social media account, you have a funnel. So stop saying you don't. But it's all the things before, how you're giving them value and providing an experience and giving them the invitation, and you're building the relationship. All of these pieces then transition to the onboarding, the customer success, and the offboarding. Now imagine doing that for one program, one offer. Now multiply that by 4, 5, 12, 16, 25. Look at how much more work you're creating for yourself. And if you have a team, your team. So with each program, with each offer, with each client, and with each sale, the goal in my eyes should be, how can I automate this more? Now, automating it has never been easier because we have the most incredible technology and there's so many cool platforms that you can use. And so an automation can be something as simple as, like, the definition of automation would be you don't have to do it. So it's not requiring manual man or woman power. So a perfect example would be when someone purchases our course or our program, they automatically get sent an email that welcomes them into the program. We don't have to do it. It's all set up. So it gets triggered. When the payment goes through, the email goes through. As soon as the email goes through, their information then gets automatically put onto a spreadsheet. And when it gets put on this spreadsheet, something else gets triggered and our team finds out about it in Slack, and we get like a notification in Slack. And so all of these things are happening behind the scenes, and I can keep going with what these automations look like. But the key here is that really it's 2022. There's no excuse to not automate. The more that you can automate or systematize or delegate, the more time and capacity and energy you're going to free up for yourself or your team members. So with each program or offer or client or sale, the focus should be, how much of this can I automate? The next focus is really, how can I take the feedback, good, bad, and everything in between? There is no good or bad. It's all neutral. How can I take the feedback and, one, make sure I'm not making it mean anything about me, but two, how can I make enhancements or tweaks and changes moving forward? Now, my team and I are always really cautious of how many changes we make from class to class or from launch to launch. We never want to make too many changes, because a change then changes everything that you're doing, and it sort of messes with your metrics or your data, because you now aren't sure, when there's too many variables. If you make too many changes, you can't track why something did or did not work. And so whenever we're doing a launch, whenever we're doing something with our program, we're very cautious not to make more than 1 to 2 changes from one time to the next time, but we'll make tons of enhancements. So an example of an enhancement could be, instead of me telling you, here is the Zoom link, you're going to be joining us here, an enhancement would be, I'm going to tell you about the Zoom link as well as send you a Google Calendar invite. So now I just enhanced your experience by making it easier for you. But a change would say, It would be something like, hey, here's your Zoom link for this call. And the change would be, oops, just kidding. We're not using Zoom anymore. We're using this new platform that no one has ever heard of that you're actually going to have to download first. And oh, by the way, you can't use Safari. You can only use Chrome. So make sure that you download it before the call. That's a change, right? So if you're making a lot of changes and variables are changing, it's going to be hard to track. Little minor enhancements and tweaks are great. Learning to remove your ego is everything, right? You've heard me say it a million times over, ego is your biggest overhead. If I had not removed my ego and listened to some of our clients in the past, some of the things that just happen now in our programs that just seem to be normal would not have happened. Perfect example, which embarrassingly, I will tell you, gosh, this was probably round 4 of Empower. We just graduated class 15 as I'm recording this. So this was probably round 3 or 4. And in the survey and the feedback, one of the clients said, hey, it'd be really helpful if you gave us like a syllabus. So my ego initially, like the hair on my neck stood up and my puffed out. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? Like, I'm a teacher. I know what I'm doing. And then I sat with it and I was like, wow, I'm a teacher. How stupid of me to not have given my class a syllabus. She's right. And so I created a syllabus. And then by the next round, my syllabus had actually turned into like a 10-page checklist. And by the next class, that 10-page checklist had turned into a 30-page workbook. And then a couple classes later, a 30-page workbook turned into a 90-page workbook. And now here we are. We just graduated our 15th class and we've had our 5th iteration and our workbook is up to 140 pages. That would have never happened if I didn't take her feedback as neutral and make some changes and enhancements. Another thing I want you to make sure that you're understanding is that when you have a signature core offer, you also are going to get better client results when you're focusing on the one thing, when you're making the tweaks and the adjustments to the one thing, when you're launching it over and over and over. While it could feel boring in the moment, what's actually happening is there's contrast in clarity. Nope, there's clarity in contrast. And so every single time you launch it, you're getting closer and closer and closer and closer to your ideal client. No one launches something on the first time and hits the nail on the head. In fact, I don't think we ever hit the nail on the head because it's always changing slightly. Our ideal client is changing slightly. Their journey is changing slightly. The verbiage, how we speak to one another, the collective consciousness is growing and changing. Technology is changing. The speed at which we do things is changing. And so we're always trying to make changes. We're always trying to keep up with where everyone is moving. And so the more times you launch something, the more times you talk about your offer, you're of course just going to get better at it. It's impossible to not. It's taking swings at bat. Like, what is it? Wayne Gretzky? I don't know. You missed all the shots you don't take, right? Something like that. So every time you take a shot, you get better and better and better. And when you get better and your messaging gets better, you call in the most ideal client who's the most ready and willing, who has all the character traits that you're looking for, the readiness, the resources, the tools, the drive. And so naturally, the client results are going to get better. You're also going to get better at teaching the thing. So there's a pretty good chance you're in some sort of education here. If you're listening to me, you're in some sort of skill share, some sort of service area where your teaching will just get better. How many times have you watched an old video or like heard yourself on an old podcast or even just thought about a way that you used to teach something and now you think about how you teach it now, or you watch something now, you're like, man, how did anybody even learn anything from me? Like I fumbled through that whole thing. That was so embarrassing. I wasn't clear at all. Now I have this clear framework in my brain and there's 7 things and 5 points and 6 mistakes. So as you get better, the client results get better. And you know what? So do the testimonials, because the results get better. So the testimonials get better. You also start to understand exactly what the transformation is, and you understand what you actually give people. And so over time and experience, you probably focus less on the deliverables and you focus more on the transformation, which is really where we should be focusing. And by doing that, there's clarity all around. And when there's clarity, expectations are clear, and expectations equal experience. And so a lot of times, many times, coaches and entrepreneurs will over-deliver in their marketing, and then they under-deliver in the experience. That leaves people with a pretty poor taste. And so when someone says your name or the name of your program, their response might be like, nah, I don't know, I didn't really get that much out of it. Or like, it wasn't that great. She was nice, but But when you can create almost an under-delivering in your message, and then you over-deliver in the experience, that's when you get people raving about you. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. He gave so much more than I expected. I couldn't believe how many calls there were. I had no idea it was going to be like that. And then what happens is you gain word of mouth. And word of mouth is the best marketing, especially when we're talking about building a machine that is sustainable, scalable, and profitable. Because over time, you want your audience becoming your best ambassadors. Like, why wouldn't you want your audience and past clients doing some of that work for you, helping get new leads into your funnel, helping, quote unquote, sell your offer or your program or your product? It's cheaper than paying for ads. It's easier than having to go on tour and pitch yourself and get on stages. Not to say those things aren't awesome and fun, and of course they work. But imagine people that took your signature offer, talk about how great it was, and it's like a snowball starts to happen. And as the snowball happens, more leads, more clients, more revenue, more profit, more team, more systems, more automations, more impact. Do you see where this is going? It doesn't happen as easily, naturally, organically, or quickly when you have a ton of offers. So is it working for people right now? They have a ton of offers. They're selling something new every single day. Are they making a ton of money? Yeah. Yeah, they absolutely are. But I deeply, deeply believe that that is short-term thinking for short-term success. And I get it, Jess, but they're laughing all the way to the bank. Totally. Totally. And I hope that they do good things with their money, and I hope they invest and figure out what that's going to look like. And as someone who's running a multiple seven-figure business, we also are making great revenue and great profit and great impact with less energy, with less capacity, with less confusion, with less offers, with less man and woman power. And so we at Digital Business Evolution believe in long-term thinking for long-term results. I'm not interested in making money. I'm not interested in helping you make money. I'm interested in building a machine that will make us both money for years and years and years to come. So, my personal opinion, I do think that too many offers are too many offers. I do think that one solid core offer, one signature offer is the best placed, especially to start. And all roads could or should lead to that offer. With your feedback, you'll learn what people want after that offer. With the feedback, you'll learn what people need before that offer. And the cool thing is that when all of your roads and most of your energy lead to that one signature offer, you become known for that thing. And people just appear. They just come out of nowhere because you're known for that thing. And when they want that thing, they come to you. You're top of mind. And of course, you can sell things on the back end. And the coolest part about that is that statistically, it's easier to sell someone who's already purchased from you. So if they came into your signature offer, you can absolutely be launching stuff on the back end of your business to people that have already purchased from you, which means they already know, like, and trust you. And if you're focused on their experience, they've had an incredible experience with you and you've gotten them results because you've built a machine. That's the best part. And the cool thing about back end offers is it does not require you to do front end launching. Now, I know there's this debate of like, oh my God, am I going to confuse my audience? And is it really exhausting? And at the end of the day, we're smart people. I don't think you're necessarily going to confuse your audience. You could, but I will tell you, as someone who's been doing this for 10 years, launching a lot of different things, launching at all can feel exhausting when your energy is on 150%. So I would way rather send a couple emails to my already warm list of buyers and say, hey, I've got this other really cool thing for you. Now that you did XYZ, you might be wondering about blah, blah, blah. I can help you with that. Then having to send out emails to my whole list or get on Instagram stories or do a podcast tour and talk about a new offer. There's credibility and clout that comes from having a signature offer. So I stand my ground. I'm a firm believer of having a core signature offer, and we can have a discussion about it. You can feel free to text me and we can chit chat about it, because I do see that people are having success with many, many offers. But to me, many, many offers is not a machine. It's manual power. It's man and woman power. It's sending links in the DMs. It's constantly talking about something new. Building a machine is repeatable. You could do the same thing over and over and over with minor tweaks and enhancements. slightly changing the copy, slightly updating the pages. It's much easier. It's much easier. So if you're loving this or you're hating it and I'm triggering you, that's totally fine. But either way, if you're interested in going deeper when it comes to things like launching and offers and lead generation and what the heck does it mean to be building this machine that you're always talking about, I would deeply, deeply encourage and formally invite you to our brand new masterclass called Discover How We've Created Multi-Six-Figure Launches on Repeat since 2018. We are literally pulling back the curtain and showing you our proven launch system that has consistently generated $100,000 to $300,000 launches for over 4 years. On August 17th at 12 noon Eastern, this masterclass will be rocking and rolling. And to be honest, this has been our most asked topic for years. And the only reason we haven't hosted a masterclass like this before is because we are truly committed to ensuring that not only can we get the results in our business, but can we repeat the results in our business? And then most importantly, can we get those results for our clients? And so there are no flukes here. This is a system. And after 4+ years, over 500 clients, and over a collective $13 million in revenue, I think it's actually 14 million, I can confidently say that we figured it out and we have a launch machine that works. So if launching has ever felt heavy or confusing, or if it's simply not getting you the desired result that you want, this masterclass is absolutely for you. Whether you're brand spanking new to launching or you're on your 50th plus like me, I encourage you to come. We're going to be taking you from wherever your launch is to wherever you want it to be. So don't go anywhere else. Head down to the show notes, snag your seat, and hopefully I will see you live on the 17th. If not, you can always watch the recording. I cannot wait to share our plug and play launch framework with you so that you can truly get off the launch hamster wheel. It is possible. All right, fam, if you loved this episode, I would encourage you, please, and ask please, it would mean the world to me if you took a screenshot, shared it up on social, tag me at I am Jessica DeRose, and let me know what some of your biggest takeaways were. If you disagreed with me, that's totally fine. If you want to have a conversation, slide into my DMs and let's chat about it. I stand pretty firm in my belief that signature core offers are the best way to really build a sustainable, scalable, profitable, and simple business, which at the end of the day, I think is what most of us want. So until next time, cheers to your evolution. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you loved this episode, I invite you to be a part of our ripple effect and share it with a friend. And please, if you feel called, take 30 seconds to leave a 5-star review, and I'll be forever grateful. Until next time, cheers to your evolution.